welcome to another episode of... Carlos, where's the skeleton? Where's Skeleton Pete?
He was just right here. I went to the bathroom and I came back and he's gone. What'd you do with him?
I swear I didn't touch him. Pete?
Pete? I'm kind of freaking out. This is weird, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, Pete, where are you? We gotta shoot SOS.
Welcome to another episode of SOS VHS. Today, the three of us went to the movie theater to watch Five Nights at Freddy's, a movie that obviously is popping up everywhere. And because we're not in the 12 to 24 demographic, I don't think we were such a good fans. I see you like nodding your head no.
I played the game when it came out briefly. I re-downloaded it. I feel like there's no excuse. You can hire people and spend money to make these scripts really cool and good. And you could have got a second one. Although this will get a sequel because it
absolutely
crushed it at the box office.
Just to go over a few of the hardcore facts, it made $78 million in the US in the first 3 days. To put it in perspective, The Exorcist Believer did 24 in the same amount of time, right?
Yeah.
Internationally, including the US, it did like 131 million. This is a movie that cost 20 million to make, 50 million to market. So, but they're still, after 3 days, they're still, they're already
Is it normal
printed.
to double your budget for marketing?
Yeah, usually, this started in, I think, 1975 with Jaws, and then George Lucas, who was kind of like the master marketer, and starting to invest as much money as you in the movie as in the marketing.
I see. Okay.
And now with the smaller movies like this, smaller for Hollywood, you have to put a lot of money to compete to get awareness.
Yeah.
Nobody expected this huge success, not even them.
Yeah.
And it was just, it blew people's minds.
In the summer of Oppenheimer and Barbie and people spending their money on doing that, I would never have expected people to like go back to the movies to watch another film, especially like there's it's football season, there's things going on,
I think there's a hunger for like things that are not sequels, and then like stuff like that is a little more original.
I think it's the potential of how cool this movie could have been too. I think even if you're like 20 and you played this game 8 years ago or whatever, you're like, oh, that could be a really cool movie.
Yeah, I saw that the 80% of the audience was 18 to 24. No, sorry, 13 to 24.
Jesus, that's so annoying in the theater.
Yeah, but
imagine?
It kind of makes sense. If
it
you
does.
Think about it, it is a PG-13 movie.
I don't even look at the rating, but
But it makes sense, right? Like there's no
fuck or
no, and also the violence is very tame. We talk about it a little bit when
the Osage people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this could have been easily an R-rated movie.
I think they wanted their money. It's like, I think it could have been better if it was R. I believe that making a good movie equals money still. So,
but the audience is so young. The potential audience was so young that I think they're not gonna, because they probably were in talks to do like an R-rated cut for streaming or something like that, but decided not to.
You could still make things scary without showing blood and stuff, like we talked about the Scorsese movie, where there's not like gratuitous violence, but still gratuitous. What a 1999 word, like Hillary Clinton.
My main problem with the movie is that it's actually not scary. It's not even scary for that demographic. It's not. But if you compare to what are the PG-13 horror movies that are scary? That scare you when you were a kid.
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense was very scary, but that was like so grounded in reality. This is so obviously like goofy.
Yeah, this is more like a Gremlins, right? Like it's that tone that it's not really scary, but it's fun.
It feels like they blew like their load on like the video game. It's like the game on your iPhone is so original and cool.
Yeah.
And if this was like a movie at first, like that would have been like Gremlins. But because we know it was a video game, obviously that's great. You can bring people to the theater way easier.
Yes.
But I don't know. I just think they fumbled the bag on this. And I feel like they got really lucky and they made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I feel like they should be sued for robbing the American public.
That's so funny.
Yeah. I feel I feel like there's an actual case. Like, you didn't try hard enough and you robbed us.
Honestly, I did not love the movie, but
I did
since
not
you are
like...
so against, I'm gonna just argue
No, that's great.
For the movie a little
Please.
bit. Because I feel like...
Andres, I didn't understand it.
It's so...
We watch movies every day, basically.
Yeah.
I didn't understand the plot. We write and we understand 3 and 5 act structure backwards. Like, people think we're goofy guys, but we like understand Shakespeare. It's like, we're in LA for a reason.
It's not made for us, and it's made for the fans of the game. That's the first audience, and they are targeting that audience.
The game was scary though. I wanted this to be scary.
But in terms of understanding the plot and the lore of this game, and if you... I mean, the game is so simple on one hand, and it has all these side little games that have the plot in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
So you have to be really like, if you just like scan through the game, you're never going to get any of the plot. So it's so much lore. And so in video games, I guess you can get away with stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. I guess in movies too, but in this movie, there's so much stuff. The rules of the world.
I didn't understand the rules. Yeah, they kept contradicting themselves, and I don't know. I put on reality TV 3 times during this movie, but I finished it. But like, I was putting on other things. I was like, I don't want to watch this all the way through because I'm going to get in a bad mood. I want to come back to it, wanting to come back to it. I was trying to do it justice, for real.
Right. I mean, I usually don't hate movies. It's like
Me neither.
I have a high tolerance for pain.
My dad was so strict on that too. He was like, "Oh, you think that movie's bad?" He was like, "Could you go make it?" If I said anything about a movie, it was like, those guys are millionaires. It was always that. They have so much money and you're not shit.
Right. And think about this. This is the biggest Jason Blumhouse production opening ever.
That is insane. He is such a talented producer. I've looked up to him for a decade. Like, out of nowhere, this guy comes from the ashes or the half ashes of Eli Roth, basically.
Right.
Like, this cool version of Eli Roth. Eli Roth is super cool. I love the guy, but like, this guy really takes it to a next level of like, who's in the future of horror. Like,
yeah, but he does both. He does terrible movies and he does...
but his terrible movies are very fascinating, and I feel like this doesn't even deserve to be in the category of terrible movies for Blumhouse.
Like Truth or Dare?
Yeah, I feel like there's still something creative about it, and there's something like not creative about Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, the lore didn't feel... I feel like you and I could have more fun like coming up with the lore of like these animatronic characters.
But they want to make justice to this whole plot that is in the games, right? Because the movie takes place in today, right? They never say that it's
2000 something.
But the killings of these boys happen in the 80s.
Yeah.
And apparently to understand the whole game thing, there is an 83 and 87
bite of 83.
Yeah, there's a bite of 83, the bite of 87, which is like
infamous bite of 83.
I was born in 87.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's when they kill. The big bite happened in 87.
I did love seeing Matthew Lillard. I love seeing him.
Hell yeah, Skeleton. I gotta say, Matthew Lillard looks fucking great. I'm so proud of him and inspired that in 2023. Okay, good.
Yep.
I know the year.
Yeah.
I always think it's 4. I'm in the future.
Soon enough.
Yeah. He looks so like athletic and thin. Like, he looks good, which I think at his age, he was a movie star in 2001. I think that's very admirable. We just had Matthew Perry pass away.
Yeah.
So when I see actors still working and look healthy, I really look at that and use it for my own life. But Matthew Lillard was fantastic. I thought he was the best actor in the movie. Josh Hutcherson is his name, right?
Yeah.
I saw him at Lemonade on Coldwater and Ventura a couple years ago.
Okay.
Well, it was more than a couple years ago. I was with my ex-wife, and Hunger Games just
Were
came
you
out.
a Hunger Games like?
I fucking loved Hunger Games. I saw it at the ArcLight. I hated his character. He was
Peeta.
such a little cuck.
You don't like Peeta?
I don't like Peeta, and especially like when they run into him in the forest, and he's like camouflaged with the rock. I'm like, you think that's cool to be able to camouflage yourself?
He's
with
the girl in the movie.
Fancy said it, not me.
Well, but
He's the feminine energy.
I think
Jennifer Lawrence.
I actually was kind of surprised that to me he did okay.
He got paid.
But he's the thing that anchors this whole movie because his aunt and the people she hires and that lawyer, it all feels like completely a different movie. Would look like
A million
at a
percent.
sketch show with like really terrible actors.
It's the C storyline, and I'm like the lighting looks different. I'm like, did y'all shoot this like a month after they wrapped Josh's shit? Like, did they just get him and then they do this? I don't know.
It felt strange, but for me, I mean, and the only reason why that plot makes sense is because the best part of the movie, the actual killing sequence, happens because of this guy, the breaking in guys. But I thought those actors were terrible. The girl is okay, passable, like the sister Abby. But I think he's the one.
I didn't love her.
Right.
She's passable, but she does her job. She's under fucking 20. She's a kid. She can work.
No, I understand, but it's just like, I agree.
Oh no, I'm telling myself that. Like, because I was getting annoyed of her, and I was telling myself, Carlos, be nice. She's a kid.
She's okay, but when you see an actor, a young actor, really like
So rare.
Skeleton mentioned Sixth Sense. When you have a performance like that, it's like, okay.
I met him last year, Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He is so cool. He was just like a cool, he was so cool. The sun was setting, and he took a picture of it for Instagram. I was like, he's just a chill dude.
Yeah.
He loves food, Instagram, and
he
like
does love
baseball. He does love food. We're not getting into that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
I love guys
You
that
can
love
see dead
food.
people and great sunsets.
You can see dead people and double
burgers.
He's just
Look, I'm not making fun of the guy. I'm just saying, like, he was
no, he's an American talent.
and he was an amazing kid actor. I think like he did Sixth Sense and AI. And with those two performances, he has a career, Now, unfortunately, nobody has given him a chance to be
He deserves it. I think you know where I loved him? The Entourage movie.
Yeah.
He was fucking good in that. This guy could be on Broadway. He's so
does.
good. I think he's an incredible actor. But we can get back to Five Nights
Right.
at Freddy's.
But I think Josh, Mike, our character,
yeah.
I think he does okay because I don't think it's an easy script to ground.
No, he
Like,
probably had to make it up with an acting coach,
And
right?
and he was like, okay, I kind of believe this character in this journey. Obviously, it has so many insane theories that to buy into the lore of this is so difficult for me.
I just had to do it.
Even if you like the video game, it's like, okay, so you have this dream theory, right? The movie starts with him reading a
The dream.
fake book about the dream theory, which
And he
is
can go back to the same dream every night.
exactly. He can go back to the same dream every night and revisit it, and that's what he does. He takes sleeping pills and has some sort of anchor, like that poster of Nebraska, right? And he goes back to the same dream, his recurring dream. And again, he was 10 or something when this happened, so this is like 20 years of him
His
dreaming.
brother gets taken, and he goes back to this dream to see who took him.
To see who took him, and he always the same dream, and nothing else happened.
This is pure movie lore. Like, we are not on Earth right now.
And then the dream theory has a second part that says, well, actually everything we dream we've seen once is there, even if you
which you believe in complete theory, which is if you've looked at anything in your life, it's in your brain and you have to discover it somehow. I'm like, dude,
but how reliable are your memories, as time goes by?
Lawyers don't even rely on them in court because you could call a blue car a red car in a murder case.
It feels like his form of hypnotherapy, right? Where you try to access those memories, but this is his own
thing.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't he use psychedelics? Which is the first thing I thought of when he was like, I need to discover something in my brain. I'm like,
right.
Well, if you lived in California,
because it's PG-13.
You're right.
So that's why we came in with the sleeping pills.
Oh yeah. Instead, they're like, pills are okay. These generic fake pills.
Exactly. But okay, so we start with that. Then we go into a kind of like a real murder drama thing where like a serial killer has kidnapped kids, killed them, and get rid of the bodies.
Something that could have been actually scary. But I guess it's PG-13, but you could have done it. And
then we have a ghost story on top of that. So like the spirits of these kids. Oh, because the guy had two dreams. The two things that he loved is the guy who came up with Freddy's Pizzeria had two dreams, right? Like family events and animatronics.
Insane.
So he put those two things together and he created the best animatronics ever. The animatronics, I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, I grew up going to a place like Five Nights at Freddy's.
Which one was your favorite?
Of the robots? I like the small one.
I told Pete you were the cupcake. I think the cool...
You always make me the bad character. In Killers of the Flower Moon, I was like Leo being goofy. Just drinking.
Yeah. No, I think my favorite is Chica.
Okay, cool.
What about you, Skeleton?
Who's your favorite?
My favorite is...
Foxy?
I like, Fredbear.
Fredbear.
Okay.
The protagonist.
Did you grow up going to a place like this?
There was no such thing as
in Spain?
This is very American. You know, it feels very... The things that I would see in movies.
So I grew up going to Chuck E. Cheese in Houston and to a couple locations, actually. It was exactly like this. Yeah, and it was scary. It was weird. Like, they weren't a big part of what I liked.
Yeah.
I liked the pizza and video games. Like, the animatronics were just a little too creepy for me.
Yeah, I feel like this comes with the kind of like the clowns and the other things that are kind of like kid-like but also scary, you know? And animatronics can be scary.
And the game is such a cool idea. When the game came out, I downloaded it immediately on like my iPhone 4 or 5 or whatever it was.
So I think that's 2014 the game came up.
I like how that's old. I was literally like, I think I was engaged.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But it was, I agree. I think the game is cool. It's fun. It's a horror game. I mean, it gets repetitive to me a little bit.
Yeah, but imagine you're 12.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So I thought in the movie there'd be a lot more jump scares because the game has so many jump scares.
Right.
So did I.
I didn't get any of those jump scares, and I was like, oh, I wanted to be scared here.
1,000,000%.
They have them. I don't think they work.
It's the whole point of the game.
And I think that's where you can still be PG-13 if you go for the jump scare. I think it's always cheap. The jump scares, we're so used to see them. And
which is why it works in a video game.
Music so loud and everything, you know, you're looking that way and it's here. Every time, you know, when he opens his locker and sees the balloons. Character.
Oh, so scary.
And it's like you cut 3 times, you know, and the music goes up so high. I don't love those type of things.
Okay.
Versus like something like in The Sixth Sense, you know. I think
of course.
Like the character just crossing frame and suddenly you're like in
fucked
tension.
Up.
But it would have been on brand for the movie because the game has them.
Of course, like, that's what I was thinking.
I'd like go ahead and use all those jump scares, you know.
They do a few. I feel.
But they just don't. Yeah, they don't hit.
Yeah, they don't hit. I agree. And that's why I don't think the movie is super scary in that sense. But
which would have been awesome if it was legit scary and like fucked up.
But I just feel like that's not the point of the movie. And
the point of the movie is to make money, and they did that.
No, but I'm saying like when I remember watching Gremlins, is the only other movie that I can like say, okay, it was fun, it was for kids.
There seems to be some sort of love in Gremlins though, where they like love the characters, and I get that the creators love these characters. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
but there feels like there was no effort in the script, and I feel like with Gremlins, there's effort and like trying. There's some sort, and you can see it through the movie. And with this, I didn't feel like they tried. I feel like they wrote 4 drafts and they shot it, and I'm like, you know.
I mean, they've been trying to make this movie for 10 years. So
Yeah.
10 years. So
But
there's
that's not a
jokes
script
about.
issue, right? That's not like, oh, they sent it to the studio for 10 years.
I
That's like,
feel they haven't found the right version of the movie they wanted to make.
I agree with you on that. There's probably so many versions of this script, but what I think is it's not about it being good. It's about it being like the right version to market, which is, okay, we like this storyline for it where a security guard gets a job there and he's down and out and they have these crazy dreams. I'm like, they're on pitch 11 at this point. Actually, 10 years, they're on pitch 50.
It's Holler Baby time. And we have today Alexander Wade that says, back pain, holistic muscle, therapy works, hustlesportsmassage.com. Alexander Wade. And if you guys want to leave any shout outs here, go to holler.baby/SOS VHS. I don't know. I always think once I start criticizing a movie, I quickly think, wait a second. There's no way that it's lack of effort. I think even if the thing doesn't land the way I want it, because I made movies and I made movies that are bad, but it's not a lack of effort. It's like,
what about the writing?
I think people work as much as they can, and in this case, like
to get paid though, that's what I really argue is that I think they're trying to get paid. I think the writers are like, I want it to make sense so that when it goes to the studio, they see me as a competent writer and they're like, we're going to give you a lot of money. I really believe that because honestly, that would be my thinking if I was handed intellectual property. I'm not the creator, but if I was handed the property from the creator and an agency, I'd be like, all right, I got to understand this and write this the best version. But if I was just looking for a paycheck, I'd be like, I just got it to make sense.
Yeah, but
and like put some cool sprinkling on it. But
let's go.
I want to love it.
Well, here can I do something real quick?
Yeah.
Yes, Skelton. I'm sorry. I'm so passionate about this.
I'm almost 37. Carlos, you're my age. Andreas, you're a little bit older.
I'm 36.
They're 36, right? So look, we're older. Transport yourself back to a 14-year-old kid, right? I feel like I would have loved this movie as a teenager.
I'm 14.
You know, I don't think it's made for us. That's the thing.
I agree 100%. I agree with that. But also going through the rabbit hole of like, let's think about. So this is the second feature of this director, her name is Emma
Tammy, yeah.
And
also, she holds the record for biggest box office for a female, biggest box office horror for a female director.
Of course, yes.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
It's amazing and means that also she's gonna keep doing like the sequels because also absolutely the sequel is guaranteed.
I didn't like it, Emma.
And think, but I'm saying like for someone like she did a movie called The Win in 2018. In
1918.
In 2018.
This old hag. She made the Titanic documentary.
And so I'm saying like for her, this is a big deal. This is like
it would be a big deal for me. I'd be
make it or break it. And it follows the Jason Blum, the way that they produce movies and Blumhouse, which I think is genius.
But the 14-year-olds and the 15-year-olds that are going to this are not seeing Blumhouse and confirming that it could be a good movie. That's
what I'm saying is like what Jason Blum usually does is he goes after directors who have a track record but they're not famous.
Cool.
So if they have a track record, meaning like they know how to make a movie, they made at least one or two movies. Yeah. I know that they can handle making a movie, the whole process. Then I give them the project. Yeah. And I don't have to pay them this, so this is the second movie this year. And by the way, Jason Blum is behind the Exorcist too. Yeah. But he did two movies this year, Megan and
I liked Megan.
And Five Nights at Freddy that were a one-off that now are going to have sequels because they crashed at the box office. And that's kind of unheard of.
Is Jason Blum the most successful producer in Hollywood right now?
It's probably at the top, especially this type of indie producer, right? Indie in the sense that like it is his company. He does.
Oh, he's the next Weinstein.
Is the next George Lucas?
Oh, George Lucas, that indie producer.
George Lucas was always an independent producer.
I know, in 1976.
No, until the end of his life, because he was his own boss. He owned his own company.
That's like saying Elon Musk is an indie space.
Well, but what I'm saying is like the definition of indie is that you don't depend on a studio.
1,000,000%. Yes.
If you create your own studio, that's different.
Yeah, I understand that.
And Jason Blum is the same thing. He's an indie producer now. He's ahead of his own studio.
So inspirational. So cool to me.
So cool, especially because the type of movies that he bet on, you know.
But he makes damn good movies. I feel like, I don't know what his secret sauce is, but there's something about his movies that there must be some sort of process with his production company where the script or something or the cuts go through him and like an elite crew of people he trusts before anything goes like to distribution.
I think they have so many bad movies. I love him. I love the model they do.
But aren't the bad movies creative?
I think they're just fun. But I put this one in that category. I don't hate this movie. I think it's a fun movie. I agree with the skeleton. If I was younger, I would be more into it. I still was able to. I love the characters. I think that the idea of the animatronics and not using CGI and using actual
visually.
Oh, thank
great.
God!
Visually, it looks
CGI.
great. Actually,
that's Blum though. That's Blumhouse's influence, I imagine.
I imagine
just the universal picture be like CGI.
I mean, we're talking about like the fan base is so important. So when the poster came out, like people got really mad online because in the game the characters don't have red eyes. So the filmmakers were like, oh my God. And it probably every scene, because you see, which I think is pretty cool, the faces of the animatronics, you can see when they're like the fuzzy cute bear and the bad bear.
Yeah.
With subtle details, you know, they close their eyes a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool.
They become a little redder, but probably they were this red. And they probably have to tame it because people
just
were
like
against it.
They did that with Sonic, I believe. In the latest Sonic movie
with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, no, it was either Sonic or Pikachu. I can't remember where the character was released and the internet backlash. I believe it was Sonic. They backlashed so much. Yeah, the Jim Carrey one that they changed the way Sonic looked.
Interesting because
it was for the better. But it is this age of the internet and Reddit and whatever.
But also, you're making the movie for those people, so
you are
trying to like.
But what if you're making Star Wars and they're like, oh, I need this scene in Cloud City, man.
But so when you do something original...
I'm looking for Pete to be smiling at that. Okay, thank you.
when you do something original, you don't have that expectation. Now, doing another Star Wars now, yes, of course, they go through everything. You have to make sure everybody's happy.
But the fans are not the artists, and they're not entrusted. They're not being paid. That's my hang up about it is like, you think it's so easy, but like people like Andres have been directing for so long. They've been writing for so long. Like let the artists do what they're doing.
But look, let's go through the best version of this. The best version of an adaptation with fans. Let's say something like Lord of the Rings.
Okay, not Spider-Man 3. Okay.
No, because with comics it's a little different. I'm saying like something like it's a book that is very beloved for so many different generations of people, and such a dense book and so much information.
Dense, like the Bible.
And it has different languages in it, right? Like that is not your current language.
What's it called? Elfish?
The Elvish.
Yeah.
You have drawings of certain artists who have captured those environments for time, you know, and they're included in the book. Yeah. So when a filmmaker comes in and say, okay, I'm a fan of this, I'm going to make something for the fans, for everybody else too, and I'm going to be faithful to all of that. So I think, it's an incredible script, I think, and an incredible trilogy, but they were able to make a great thing and also be faithful. Mm-hmm. I feel like this obviously doesn't, to be fair, I don't think that this video game has the weight of like something like
what about Metal Gear Solid? They've been trying to make that for 10 years with Hideo Kojima and Jordan Vogt Roberts, who made Kings of Summer. I knew him through Sandy Danto. We'd party at his house.
So many projects. I mean, I think video game movies are in, right? Like, I think again, this is the second largest video game movie after Mario Bros.
Insane. I like the last Mario movie with Chris Pratt. I liked it a lot, weirdly. I watched it on Peacock, and I was like, this is amazing. I wish I'd seen it.
It's a fun adventure, too.
Yeah. They're going to make a second, obviously. We'll have these sequels in 2 years.
This is the problem with, like, I think people were like, okay, I'm tired of sequels. Let's go to something new. But then because that something new is successful.
They have to. There's no choice. They have to make their money.
And I think there's so much more to explore in the world of the video game for Freddy's.
Oh yeah, it's like ripe and dense with things to squeeze out for another movie.
A lot of Easter eggs.
Whether it should be is up to you, but when money's involved, yes.
Yeah, and I feel like even talking to you about it and defending it a little bit, I think it's not as bad as when I watch it. I think they did a good job with creating a visual world that makes sense, that matched the video game, that make sure that the fans were happy with. The problem is the story. The story of the video game also is so thin that for the video game works because it's just, okay, it's just a scary thing, it comes, boom.
So they take the little side things and create the lore.
Yeah.
But you said like there's lore in the game.
It's lore of the game, quest. But it's like things that don't make much sense. So we talk a few...
Because it was an iPhone game. Of course they don't want to make sense.
But let's say that this serial killer is killing kids.
Okay.
He loves killing kids. Okay, fine. Now, he kills the kid and hides the kid inside an animatronic character that is also a wearable suit. And there are two different types. The wearables, like the one that we see at the end of the movie, and the ones that you don't wear and they're just on themselves, which is already a little bit...
Oh, yeah, that's very a little bit...
weird.
Yeah.
But now, the body of these kids are inside, which is impossible because we see through and we see the skeleton is the metal. But let's say that
I couldn't... Okay.
Let's say that there is a pocket there where they hit the kid and it's probably rotten. And so these things will have to smell really bad. But also the spirit of that kid inhabits the skeleton.
We're breaking a lot of natural laws here.
And moves accordingly. But also the kids don't remember anything that happened.
That's usually the case for movies with crimes with kids. It's like, I wake up.
But it's so many things together, that you have to buy that for me is already okay. And then you have this cop who's the daughter of the killer who she's been protecting the dad for so long, although she knows that he's a terrible man. Her
police caller just says PD.
Yeah.
Police department.
Right.
No, it's like, are you the world's
This happens
police?
in an abstract city.
Yes, it takes place in Toronto, Ohio.
Right. It's
on
like
Earth 3.0.
Like many movies, small town America.
Yeah, of course, a lot of movies are like that.
And that's fine. You don't, it could be a representation any town that had the Chuck E. Cheese.
The Ferrari trailer played before this.
Oh.
I'm so excited about Ferrari with Michael Mann.
I know, you mentioned it twice.
I know, I'm so
excited.
See it. I'm sorry for mentioning it twice. You're just my friend and I want to talk about Michael Mann movies.
I read mixed things about it because it was in Venice.
He's so polarizing though. Like we should just go and have fun.
I want to see it definitely. And also has Adam Driver and one of the best actors ever, Penelope Cruz.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. So I think and she's a perfect Italian.
I went out with a girl last night.
It was like Penelope Cruz?
No, that's what my point is.
Oh.
So I went out with this girl and I was driving home and I was like, she's not Latin. What will I do? And I was really thinking that. I was like, how will I survive this? So that's like kind of an interesting thing I'm going through is being with
so you need to
What's your type?
Ride.
What's your type, Carl? Latin
or like Jewish usually I'll date, but sorry. But I sorry to all, no.
I don't think you can climb in this industry with that attitude.
No, we don't have to get into it. But yeah, Latin or Jewish skeleton, but we're on an island. It's just us bros here now for life.
So Andres is looking pretty good to you.
Yeah, for sure. He's a little too European.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too well dressed. But
I like to be the best dressed in my relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
So this Vanessa character, this cop, this PD.
Is from London.
I like it.
Yeah, it's European.
Yes.
So all this is European, actually.
You are, yeah, I know. You're
American, European, all European. American. There we go.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
I just wanted to show you that I have some style.
You are stylish.
But it's European, too.
What about this?
I think your style.
What? This chain.
That's Italian. Gucci.
Italian.
House of Gucci.
Oh, I just wanted to, for you to show it up.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. So, but going back to this movie, so we have a cop that is knows the place really well. Mm-hmm. She's acts suspicious from the beginning.
Immediately, she's on his case.
She's on it, but there is no talking about this idea of a character arc or a character change. In a movie, like why does she change in the end? Does she really like this guy? She didn't like all the previous ones, so she was okay with them being murdered.
There were no scenes of her alone in between that would like push her story forward. So you really have to like want her to understand her story and pay attention to her specifically in the scenes to understand it in the end.
Right. We see her one time. There's one shot of her alone because she's there before they arrive.
But it's not like character describing.
No, but she's also looking at these drawings in awe, like kind of figuring things out when we know that she knows that everything. So it's kind of like one of those moments.
It's a fake out.
It's
just a lie, basically.
But anyway, so I feel like all of this is very difficult to kind of accept as a part of the movie.
Are you good at that, just accepting things? Because you're such a movie lover. I'm pretty good at it, just accepting bullshit.
I can do it, but when it makes sense, I prefer it.
Of course,
like I or just a touch, like like the suspension of disbelief a little bit. Like give me
even the Sixth Sense. It's like no one can see dead people,
right? But
it kind of makes sense.
No. Once the rules are clear, I am going in with any genre, And this is like it's a ghost movie. Okay, it's ghosts that get into this, but it's so many things with this movie. That I feel because it has a family drama in it too. If you think it's like,
that would have been great if they focused on that. We would have been that would have been our anchor throughout the film.
It's a movie that's trying to figure out what it wants to be.
Yes, I think it was a movie that was
half of the movie is not even at Freddy's, and it's about this guy who clearly has a trauma. He starts by beating up a guy who thinks he's kidnapping a boy, so who already that he has this trauma.
So that's a cool idea. So automatically I'm like, I see what the writer's doing, but like it just doesn't translate through the director, Emma.
No, I'm gonna be on Emma's team. I think this is not a brilliant visual movie in that sense of like camera work or anything, but it is in the sense of like creating a visual world that represents what people are looking for. I think people who are familiar with the game go into Freddy's and recognize the location.
Which is it made a lot of money as a result. It did well in the box office because
and it looks good. It looks like a real movie. I mean,
but don't you think this could have been a cultural phenomenon like Barbie if it had been like a
definitely
badass script and we were all talking about it?
This movie is not that. I don't know if this movie could be that.
I think it could be. I think everything could be. Yeah. I mean, that's just me being optimistic, but I love the idea that anything could be a phenomenon.
I think if it focused on Afton's kind of beginnings in the 80s, I think that then, focusing in on that more, that lore and him creating the animatronics and just going deeper into the lore, although we'd get less of the Freddy Fazbear, and be already in it. And that's the thing, is like it's more in line with the game. I was going in thinking, man, I'd love to go more into the lore of it, and I felt like I didn't get that in this. I got more game than lore.
It seems like a biblical version of like this like fantasy world, like where they're describing everything. It's the exact origins and everything. Where it's like if Five Nights at Freddy's written by Carlos Herrera and Fancy B, like and Pete, it would be like this guy just shows up and it's just a crazy night and it's 90 minutes of hell.
Definitely. And there's
Led Zeppelin's playing
different possible versions of this movie with that in mind, and we have a character that is interesting, but I don't think going with the serial killer is that interesting either, because unless you create a character that is so compelling,
like Jigsaw,
it's just super crazy. This one is super crazy. It's crazy because he likes to kill kids. Already very difficult character to kind of get some sort of empathy,
understanding. You can't understand,
but also then he's just a great at creating animatronics, and then he puts the kids inside the animatronics, and then he tries to control the animatronics through drawings. It's just like,
it'd be cool
if he was like
if he was like it was some sort of sexual thing.
Also,
so weird.
I mean, Carlos.
Sorry, skeleton.
Yes. But
So
but
it's bad
think
thing.
about too, like Gareth, who's like Mike's little brother. What are the chances that the guy, right? Like it's so like it's the same guy who kidnapped his kid, but also he didn't kill him and put in an animatronic for some reason, not this
For
one.
some reason, yeah.
But he realizes, right? There is this counselor who says, "Oh, who are you, Mike?" "Oh, I have a job for you now." Not suspiciously at all.
Yeah, exactly.
The hours had the pay is bad, but the hours are worse.
That was like a TGIF, like
Yeah.
sort of like primetime TV villain.
Yeah, so I think like the
Like
moment
David
that
Lynch would make fun of him.
he does that, I know. And so I'm waiting for him to come out. And then he comes in this yellow rabbit suit, which is also an animatronic. And in the video game, right, the people who use the animatronics cannot have any sort of mist. So any sort of moist thing, like
That's a rule, guys.
it triggers the mechanism to kill the person inside.
That's
Yeah.
what happened with the bite of 83, right?
Yeah, that's what happens with the vitamin.
Was it Mike that got his head stuck in, or
Yeah, it was
or
the-
he put his older brother told him to put his head in the Fazbear, I think, right? Or
Yes.
Fredbear, and then because he was crying, whatever, it got wet or whatever, and it triggered
That's
the
insane.
it triggered
Tears.
the mouth to clamp down on his head.
So
You
what
can drop an old phone in water real fast, like even one from 2001. It would probably be fine.
but also the fact that I think you can accept this on a game because
Of course,
it
this
doesn't
is-
matter.
yeah,
Now when you
it's
put
trying
it
to be
into a
funny.
narrative,
Yeah.
it's like this makes no sense for anyone. I mean, they don't talk about it, but he's wearing this suit at the end, and then he gets killed by the suit. Probably, in the video game, he's called the person who, he always comes back, right? He never,
Yeah.
he can never die. So you will have more of him. I mean, I think he's a great character, and like you say, he's a great actor. He'll be back. But yeah, so for me, that's sort of like all this plot, because it's very plot driven, this movie. All these plot points were like, okay,
Unfortunately, it's
I-
plot driven.
if I could forget all of this stuff and I can just enjoy the ride of like, I love the little cupcake chasing around the
Yeah.
guy, or the animatronics looking at the cameras, and like
Yeah.
they're creepy. Things like that are cool. The shadows and
Yeah.
they did a big death with like they bite one person
Yeah,
off
it's so sick.
but they didn't shadow, so they
I
could
want
be
cooler
PG-13.
deaths too. I want more deaths. I want more blood. Obviously, we're PG-13, but
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
did a lot of the shadows and
for the rating, probably, right?
right. So you can still see it, but it's not as impactful. So I think all of that is well done. I just feel script-wise is one of those movies, and of course, with a bad script, it's very difficult to make a good movie.
And that C story, which is just like feels like it's from a different movie. It's like I just want to be in Josh Hutcherson's
Right,
world.
because also that story doesn't get clear completely. It's because how do these animatronics end up at her house? Right? Because did they walk all the way? How do they know where they live? All of that stuff. But it looks like they killed the aunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we go back to normal life, the aunt is now there and nobody cares. There's no investigation, which is okay. It's just there's a lot of movie things
There'd be police
happening, and it's
being
too
like, what happened?
too many at the same time.
Yes.
That's my problem with the movie.
Which the movie confused me. Just straight up. It confused me. Like what you're saying, there's so many things going on. I feel like it's such a simple video game. I was expecting that. So when all these things were like circling around me,
Yeah.
all different stories, I was just disappointed. I wanted it to be more simple.
Yeah. Because also, what's the point of like sitting this guy in the chair and then this suit that looks like it's gonna, I'm assuming, is that how he put the kids inside because of the blades? But
yeah,
then,
some sort of crazy, yeah.
but it's like, it doesn't make sense that is the mechanism to kill. And then also they're all there in the storage with other characters that are from
So how do they
the
eat
video game.
and all that? You know what I mean?
Oh, well, they're just ghosts.
Yeah, it's just, but I'm also like, what do they do there?
What do ghosts eat?
Ghosts come. There, that's the answer. What the ghosts are just hanging out there?
Yeah, they're trapped there, and it looks like because their memories were stolen and they love drawings, this guy
they love drawing.
This guy has painted a wall where with the drawings he has manipulated these kids.
Insane.
And then this kid at the end, the way that he redraws a moment, and that's how they recover their memories, and then they attack him. It's too much plot thin that is like so thin.
Yeah, you have to redraw something to convince the characters, oh, this isn't right. It's like, that's very like...
Yeah.
You really have to be paying attention.
Right. So...
Which no one is.
But at the same time, I think it's just, it's one of those things that you have to completely... You need to understand this point, because if not, you don't understand the movie, but then you have to believe it and just not question.
Oh, yeah, of
course. It's like a little bit of, have to go on faith. It's like this because that's it.
It's a wild movie.
But the opening of the movie, when, we have the security guard scene, which already annoys me when someone takes so long into taking one bolt out, and then the moment that it gets out of the other side, he doesn't have to do it.
Yeah.
So he's taking the bolts of this thing, and then on the other side, he just pushes and it comes out.
It's like there's two, dude.
It's like, wait a second. But anyway, then we start with the cool like intro, the titles, and we go into these video games when we actually foresee what's happening with the backstory, right? We see the rabbit taking kids. Had the graphics of the game, and it's seeing like the rabbit is taking a kid and taking a kid. I thought it was a fun little like way of doing it.
It also just told you like the answers to the
movie. It tells you without you knowing, which I always.
But I like realized that like when Josh was like thinking about his brother in a dream, I'd be like, they just told us in the credits like kids are like being taken.
Yes. Also, another thing that not only he goes back to his dreams, now this ghost talk to him in his dream, and he is lucid enough to talk to him.
Yes.
It's just
extremely hard to do, but he has these pills that allow him.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, it has too many unbelievable plot points.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to know the name of the pill, even if it's fake. Like, just like literally just like go deeper.
Yeah.
It's a sleeping pill. What? That's the answer to everything? Okay.
Okay, so then I was gonna ask you what's your favorite scene, but since you didn't like
I don't have a favorite scene. That's my answer. I truly don't. I don't think I have
for
one.
a moment.
Even like because even the scary scenes where like I thought like something really cool was gonna happen, it didn't please me.
Yeah.
And that's why that's my answer.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the movie. I wish it had been better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. I think we're reviewing a movie that is not made for us.
Yes. But I want all movies to be good.
Right. No, I understand. And I think, but it's like sometimes when you watch, I don't know, you watch cartoons made for 2-year-olds and they don't have a plot and they repeat the same thing.
Yeah.
It is not for you. But they are entertained and they're learning something. So I feel like this, I mean, I like all types of movies.
My kids watch the craziest things that are just like, oh my gosh, how do you like this? It's so boring.
Right.
So boring. And you're like, but they're like engaged, right?
Yeah.
Something clicks with them.
You should show them this. Go.
Yeah.
Well, maybe when they're older.
They'll be like, this sucks.
They're toddlers.
No, I think they strike the right amount of like gore and plot and all of that and game visualization that people who are fans of the game, I think, will enjoy the movie. I don't know if everybody will love it because also when you're a true fan, you would have done things differently. Yeah. But I feel like I think it's satisfying. Yeah.
Well, here, you know what? The if you look at the score on Rotten Tomatoes, fan score is 89%. I think the
fans don't know
critics
anything.
is like 20-something or 30-something%.
Yeah, fans are not smart.
But still, this is a fan movie.
Yeah, I agree. And also, there's a lot of... Aren't there any bad movies that you like? Or that you love because
there's gotta
something else? Yeah.
There's got to be. I mean, I love that movie Airheads with Brendan Fraser and Adam Sandler. That's not a good movie. It's like basically Die Hard in the 90s with like rock and rollers.
Right. So I just feel like that's
Michael Richards.
You can have... Not every good movie I also like.
Of course,
because it has to strike certain things also for you to like it.
I guess that's true. And in comedies I like, there's rules in the movie that don't make sense and stuff like that. I guess I just... I guess because I watched this and I don't know much about it, I wanted everything to be good. I wanted it to be
I wanted to be a little more...
Top Gun could have been a piece of shit and
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have made $1 trillion. It only made $1 billion. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But there is something to doing a good damn job.
Yeah. It's to me, I don't think anybody, I truly believe this, that I don't think any filmmaker sets themselves to make a bad product because it's so hard. Mm-hmm. It's not hard.
Oh, I understand.
Make a good and a bad. You write the same way. You go on set the same way.
1,000,000%.
You edit, and nobody wants that product to be bad. It's just so difficult to be good and to be exceptional. You know, we talked last week about.
So what's the difference? The script?
I think it's a lot of things. But yes, I think the script in this movie is one of those things that is like, okay, we're trying to make sure all of these people are happy.
Yeah.
We're trying to hit the creator of the video game, Scott what cow something. Yeah, well, no. Scott, he's both a story writer, meaning like he came up with the Cawthon. So yeah, I think the movie has enough that people are gonna love it. I think we were talking about how the creator of the video game is part of the writing team. Both the story is his, and he's a part of the screenplay. The director is another one credited as a screenwriter. Yeah. So I think they trying to hit these notes. Mm-hmm. And where you're trying all of these things, maybe you're not looking for the story that might be the most compelling, but the one that captures all of these moments that are gonna make happy so many people. And I respect that. Like I said, it's not for me. It's not my kind of movie, to be honest.
It's less more.
It's less more. Yeah, depending. So the big lesson of Jaws.
I'm like Bill Maher just throwing out a crazy question. No, it's less more.
In horror, I think it is. I think and
I think in all life it is.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Less money is better. Less money is more money.
That's very true. Less money is better.
Yes, for Matthew Perry.
Less money is way better. I'll say this about Matthew Perry. I've seen him for years.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Money didn't help.
We had a friend who was engaged to him. Like, he had a tragic story. It's very sad about Matthew Perry. My dad and I talked about him a lot because he was an addict. And I loved his show Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. I did not like Friends. I was a Seinfeld guy.
I love Friends.
So I liked Seinfeld. I didn't care about Friends. And I just didn't. And I loved him on Studio 60. He was addicted to Vicodin on the show. There's so emotional. And I feel like we can leave this in. This is good, like Hollywood talk. But like, his parents got photographed by TMZ. They're bright bulbs on their 80-year-old faces. Pull up to the house. I'm like, where our friend had been living. I'm just like, sad
it's very
stuff.
Tragic because he
5 nights at Matthews.
Yeah, he
5 nights at Perry's.
He said that he was looking for fame and he wanted to be famous, and that fame he thought was gonna solve or fill that void that he had inside. And not only did that, but it gave him the resources to like really go on a path that was terrible.
It's heartbreaking. Hollywood is a heartbreaking place if you don't have discipline. I cling on to the little discipline I have, and it's very hard for me here.
Yeah, I don't think I love Hollywood and fame and all of that stuff. I just love the products and
I love show business.
Movies and,
I do.
Right.
Well, so, Emma Tommy's going to have discipline now. She's famous.
Who?
Emma.
Oh, yeah.
But I think she's gonna do a sequel that is gonna be bigger, brighter, maybe not as successful, because how can you top something that is like lightning in a bottle?
Is this in China? I wonder, because the domestic was pretty high. It looked like it went to Asia.
But also think about...
Or international was high.
So they did it was pretty high. I think it was...
130 million, I think.
That's total. That's total.
Total domestic and international.
Yeah.
But okay, so international was like 40 something, 50 something. That's not easy to do. If you're an American... But I guess American IP is very valuable.
Yes. And it's a horror movie, it's Halloween, it's all of those things. But this in the US, what is very, very surprising, this is a date release, which means at the same time that hits the movie theaters, it's also hitting a streamer. So you can either watch it in the movie theaters or on a streaming device. And obviously, that usually people think that was a strategy that they use a lot during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Warner Brothers really shot themselves in the foot with that strategy. Movies like Dune, like
I like that they did that for selfish reasons. I love Dune.
And people like it for the same reason. Love Dune.
It was amazing.
But they in terms of profits, they saw the profits diminish. So they thought they weren't truly believing in the movie. They thought that, okay, because The Exorcist didn't do as well, maybe we'll have the people who want to watch at home. Let's hit them both at the same time.
Yeah. They're hedging their bets, basically.
Definitely.
Look at this. It's like the biggest thing on the movie theater.
I don't
understand it. It's the biggest Peacock movie release ever.
Well, the Peacock... Damn, I didn't know that. So at the same time, that boggles my mind. It boggles my mind that people under 21 are going to movies. Because like we work with people who are between 23 and 26, like the younger people at our office, and they seem very different.
Yeah.
And but I also can't imagine them going to the movies. So I'm like, this must be so impactful that these people are going against what they would normally do according to statistics and anything.
But if you go see the Marvel movies or all the young people.
But that was before COVID. I'm talking about now.
Okay.
Yeah, like movies now are so different. Like I remember, all the Marvel movies are packed and they're big events, even Twilight back in the day. But like this just seems so different. Like we're in a new era.
I mean, just for
or are we back? Are movies back?
Look, Spielberg told Tom Cruise, you save the movies with this stuff, right? Like with Top Gun. I think after that we've seen Oppenheimer, a movie that is not for kids, and Barbie. A movie that is not. It's a drama. It's not. It's an Oscar movie. Yes, it is big, but
the internet helped them both though. Gillian went viral, and so did Barbie.
True, but I'm saying like that's not a traditional movie that breaks the box office. But to be fair with
we don't need I thought the internet is what made Oppenheimer and Barbie big. I really did. I thought, because it's getting memed.
Yeah,
it's people are going to the theater for the experience. This movie, Five Nights at Freddy's, was not big on the internet. No one gave a shit. I did not see anything about it.
But because of the game?
The game, yes, but it didn't go big on Twitter or X or whatever. It wasn't like meme to death. People aren't like tweeting about it, being like, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Maybe you're not
it's not hitting your algorithm.
I agree that it's not hitting my algorithm, but Oppenheimer and Barbie did, and they were still huge hits. I'm saying if they're a huge hit, shouldn't Five Nights at Freddy's hit me?
It's because it's more of a cult movie. And I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I think just for that one reason, that like a movie theater packed with kids, I think that's already something to celebrate this movie.
Oh, I agree. That boggles my mind that happened. So kudos. Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Because that's cool.
Scott, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of our goal here, right? Is like, hey, go to the theaters, watch movies. Movies. Movies are important. We all love movies, so the fact that this movie brought people to the theater,
like
we're passionate about it. Yeah, and the fact that people went to the theater to see it, that's great. Like I love that.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. It means that hopefully people will pay writers more. We'll get good scripts. We'll get good movies. The Marvel movies took advantage of that.
People will invest. People will invest in movies, right? If people go to movies, then there'll be more investment into movies.
We should open a theater on the island.
Yes.
And we just reenact the movies. That's all we do.
Like, be kind.
Because we have no projectionist here or projection or anything like that. Yeah. Here.
The skeleton, we put a bulb in his mouth.
Yeah. That'll be fun.
I'm down. So, have you guys seen Willy's Wonderland with Nick Cage? They did a movie like this with Nick Cage.
I remember
before this movie. I saw it. Obviously, it's it's rated R. Yeah, bloodier. But same principle. Animatronics come to life, and Nick Cage has to defeat them. Simple movie. Yeah, and simple
the movie
premise.
I wanted to watch today.
Yeah, right. But that's something that. Definitely is Five Nights at Freddy's
for adults.
Yeah. So if you guys want a little bit more blood and Nick Cage, which he's one of my favorite actors.
The skeleton always wants Nick Cage.
Oh, yeah, I always want Nick Cage.
I always want Nick Cage. I love the guy.
Good.
It's insane.
But that was another movie that was made. I forget, maybe 5 years back.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but it's good.
Yeah, and it's fun like this also. But I always love movies for kids. There's something, the best possible ones. You have like an E.T. Yeah. Or like a thing you can watch.
Oh, I thought you meant like a real movie for kids, like a Blue's Clues movie or something.
Oh, no. Like movies were like,
It's you and Epstein.
The 80s. God. Not island movies like that.
That'd be funny if SOS, it's revealed that we're on Epstein's island. We're just like literally
we
next
zoom out.
Yeah. And there's like, Stephen
And it's
Hawking.
like, oh, Turtle Island is here too.
It's Stephen Hawking and Weinstein and the plane.
Bill Clinton's here.
It's like, the pyramid from the dollar bill is in the back drinking with the one eye.
We know bad people love movies.
Oh, yeah.
So they probably have their own projector.
Good people are doing their own thing.
Okay,
Did you go to church yesterday?
All right. So, if people haven't seen this movie, why should they see it? Why is this an important movie to see?
I think one, it's Halloween. Last week was Halloween, so I think it's always great to have these movies for this time. Like
there's always a little
spooky.
Yeah, a tale of spookiness after Halloween that I think is okay because
and you can watch it with your family. If you are young, which I don't think is our main audience, but if you are in that 13,
it's easy watching
to 20. It's so fun.
Put this on at Thanksgiving when you're like annoyed of your like aunt or your mom being like, "Why do you live in New York?"
You get great special effects. The animatronics are really fun. I thought they were very, very lively and fun.
It's PG-13. I want to be like, was that a curse word?
Right.
Yeah.
It's safe in that way.
Your little like cousins will like it, and you could shut them up.
Yeah. I think it's a good kids movie for Halloween.
The dog will look at the TV.
And if it's not perfect, well, nothing in life is perfect.
What an amazing excuse for Five Nights at Freddy's. If it's not perfect, nothing in life is perfect.
Yeah, give it a chance. Also, that is breaking records.
I wish you were the general.
Woman director, you have everything.
Nothing in life is perfect. We'll be okay.
But yeah, I definitely didn't love it, but I would recommend watching and discussing and see what you guys think.
Yeah, I talking to Andres honestly has made me soften a little bit on my opinion of the movie. I didn't like it. I was disappointed. Andres has opened my mind more as usual with movies that I come in with a negative attitude about. I IMDb'd them. I wanted to kill the writers. So I was like, you nerds. But I feel a little better about this. I want to see the second one to see what they do. I think iPhone apps, video games becoming movies is great. Just because it's technically original IP.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Also, if you're Gen X or Gen Y, you have something to talk to Gen Z about.
Exactly.
Right.
That and Spider-Man 2 on Sony, my PlayStation 5.
Awesome. So we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.